You're listening to XS Manchester. I'm Clint Boon, and as mentioned earlier, I'm joined in the studio by a couple of members of one of our new favourite bands. I've been aware of this band since about 2005 when they were called Omerta. Soon after that became Slow Readers Club, and they're just constantly giving us amazing world-class music, and recently we've been able to share that with you on XS Manchester, particularly with the latest single Lunatic. It's Slow Readers Club. Aaron and James, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Yeah.
That was a really long sentence, that, wasn't it, what I just said?
Yeah, I switched off halfway through.
Me too. But yeah, it's been. I've known you for over a decade, and it's been. You've constantly been at it. You never seem to have taken a break from it. Have you done 3 albums now?
It's this third one will be next year.
The third one is going to be the one that breaks you through to the big time. Yeah. Tell us about that. You know, in a nutshell, that from the beginnings, Omerta, 2004, 2005 to today. How's that transformation been?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've had sort of peaks and troughs in the early days. Like we had, you know, bits of radio play for Omerta, and you know, even Lamac at that stage, and we got nearly there.
Yeah.
You know, and there was labels floating around and that kind of thing, but for one reason or another, it just didn't happen, and then that band split up, and then Slow Readers Club was formed, and that's taken a while to get going as well. But it's the last album, especially Cavalcade, and getting, you know, we'd built up to sort of guerrilla level in Manchester, where we'd sold out Guerrilla off our own backs, and then
we got the James support,
so, and that gave us an audience all over the country, kind of thing, basically. And
because James
just built from there, got festivals and that kind
of thing. They've stuck by you for several years, haven't they? Because a lot of bands, they'll take a support band on for a tour and then give it to somebody else the next time.
That's normal. That's
normal,
isn't it? Yeah.
So even last night, you did a surprise appearance with James at the Albert Hall, that big acoustic sort of thing that was going on. You did that, wasn't it?
Joined Tim on stage as well for sometimes.
Sometimes that's quite that's a proper accolade.
That was amazing.
Amazing moment. Did you smash it or what?
I think so.
It's amazing for them, wasn't it?
Yeah. There was some interesting dance moves from me. I think I'm not quite in Tim's league, but
he's incredible. He's an incredible person. He has I don't know what the word is, but a sort of physio masseur. Helps him to completely loosen up before he performs, and then after the gig he has to get stiffened up.
He needs it. He
has to get his frame back locked up, or else he can't walk.
Just like that.
I've got to ask you, right, it's one of the best band names that I've ever heard. Who came up with it?
It
was me, really. Yeah.
At school, were you in the Slow Readers Club?
No, I wasn't, but it was inspired by that. I remember going from junior school to senior school, and we got taken around. We did like an open evening, saw the science labs and the English room and all that, and there was a room called special needs.
All right.
And I thought it was a weird concept that you could be sort of
pigeonholed,
pigeonholed like that at that early age. I found it scary as hell, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's a rejection of that concept, really. It's a bit of a championing of the underdog and going
absolutely
2 fingers up to that, basically.
Which what rock and roll usually is. So it's like I said, great name. The music you're making is absolutely world class. You've had a great 2017. What have been your highlights of that year that we've just had, first of all?
Main stage at Isle of Wight.
Yeah, Albert Hall.
Yeah. 2,000 people.
Just everything, I think.
Castlefield.
Personally, just it's been building and building and building. So whenever we've done something, it's always gone bigger. Something bigger or better, and it's just everything added together. I know it's a really bobbins answer, but as a year, considering, you know, if you go back a few years where we were then, and we're still working out, and we're still working now, we're probably working out harder than we've ever worked before. But it's just everything coming together at a time when we can sort of see it in front of us and see we're getting more fans and more interaction on social media and stuff like that. It's everything added together, but particular selling out Albert Hall. You know, if you would have asked us that.
The UK tour, actually.
Everything,
and the garage in London.
King Tut's in Glasgow.
King Tut's was amazing.
So some proper venues where we would have put them on a list if we could have played venues, and you know, we've done them in the past couple of months, which is ridiculous.
On your dream list. It's funny, isn't it? Because when I go back to when we started off the Inspirals in the mid to late 80s, if we could have sold locally 2,000 tickets in a venue, we would have had a major label deal within days. It's not like that anymore. You've got a good deal. You're working with, is it Modern Sky you were doing?
Right. Yeah.
But it's not like the old days, is it, where a band in any city that could sell 2,000 tickets would automatically get a 200 grand advance and a major 5-year major record deal. Are you content where you're at? Are you still striving to get that bigger support?
No, I think
we're just taking each day and each gig and each week as it comes out. I think that's all we can do.
The difference is when we were doing it ourselves and self-releasing and stuff, like the strategy part wasn't really there. It was like we'd have a single and it'd get some radio play and a bit of buzz and be like, right, what's next? And it's like we'd be months and months before we had something out again, and it's like making rookie mistakes like that. Basically, we know the score now, so we know that now we're at the start of the album campaign. Basically, there's going to be more singles, and the album will be out early next year, probably April, I think. Something.
Yeah.
Right. But I think we've now got all this sort of machinery that established bands have, like management, agent, all that. So like we've got festivals in the diary for next year, some of which we've announced, but we're really
discussing our own tour now as well, like another tour, and looking at venues and dates and stuff like that. So, and if it wasn't for that involvement, we'd probably just sat tight. Yeah, exactly. So there's like a plan, kind of. There's not a big master plan saying we're going to conquer the world, but there's just a plan for the next step, and we'll just see what that brings.
Yeah, it's nice when you just mentioned you hit the nail on the head there with once that infrastructure around you is in place. Everything makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? It's like the amount of bands that come to me that are brilliant bands, from around here, and they are brilliant and they're ready for the world stage, but they haven't got a manager, and it's just nice when you see it all slot into position. Nice when you've got your manager and you've got your agent and you've got your little team around you. So we've got all that in place. All we need to do is just get you into the charts, really, and get some get records. And that's Excess are going to be behind you for the near future, for definite. Any other music that's exciting you at the moment?
I quite like. There's a band called October Drift that they supported us way back in when we did St Philip's Church.
Yeah.
They make some cool stuff. It's quite sort of dark, like us basically, but they're massively energetic live.
Like us.
That's to say we're not.
No. But they're like, I'd sort of more energetic now than that, I guess. But yeah, they're really good. I quite like Pale Waves as well. I think they're sort of, it's sort of Madonna, sort of goth Madonna kind of thing. I quite like that. Trying to think now.
I bet you're looking forward to a time when you'll be that big that you can help the next generation of new local bands the way that James have helped you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Well, we said we'd let James support us in a few years.
It does happen, bands don't leapfrog each other like that. Yeah. You know what? There was a point where I think James took the Inspirals out on the road, one of our first big tours, and within a year or two we were bigger than them, and then suddenly they just became the biggest band ever from that genre. But Elbow and Doves, a similar thing happened there, where Doves used to help Elbow, used to give Elbow support, and then suddenly Elbow were massive and they took Doves out. So yeah, but great, James supporting you.
You never know. We owe him a few, don't we? So
we did a little poll. You probably know about this. We did a little thing online recently about asking Excess listeners what the song of the year was for them for 2017. You've probably heard the news that it's "Lunatic" by you.
Mad, isn't it?
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah. It's just it's ridiculous, and like I told my dad the other day, and he's absolutely buzzing because he listens to this station now. Yeah. And so there you've got one listener, I suppose, who's come from us. Obviously, just there's a guaranteed one that's come from us. But it's
and my mum.
It's just to see the sort of music you play. For me personally, that's for us to be in that situation.
It's two Gallagher brothers out there, so that's good.
But it's ridiculous considering the type of music you play as well, and the songs that we're competing against, and the people who voted for it as well. We can't thank them enough. But it's mad.
Yeah, it's tough.
But in a good way.
I think it's just a beautiful time for the city to have a station like this. I mean, it's easy for me to blow our own trumpet, but I do think that it's already the best Manchester music station that's ever existed. You know what I mean? It's like the music that we're playing now is just a beautiful mix. Not only the classic Manchester stuff and classic rock stuff in general, but new stuff like yours. And
it's really important for bands like us as well, because it's difficult to get onto, like, to be playlisted, to be supported as much as we have been by you guys. For sort of the bigger, sort of the more corporate sort of established stations, and that's you don't get a look in on those.
You know what, at the end of the day, it's not us being charitable, it's you giving us amazing records that sound brilliant on the radio, like Lunatic. So you keep the music coming and we'll keep playing it, man.
Oh, thank you,
No problem.